Welcome back, football fans. I wanted to do a quick video on just how I set up a game of APBA football using cards right out of the box. So I just pulled these untouched two teams right out of the box from APBA, the 81 Miami Dolphins, the 81 Houston Oilers. And what I'm going to do is just show how I sort the cards out, because you do get a lot of cards with this game. So you get 50 cards per team. I wanted to see how you show how I sort things out in a quick manner to get a game set up here. So what I have going on here, I have the basic boards, my blank score sheet, which we're going to fill in a moment. I have the Fletch 67 chart that calls the defense that comes with the game. And all I've pulled up here is just a Pro Football Reference, where I'm going to get the players. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to set the camera up, so hopefully you can see a little bit better than yesterday's. So I'm going to put Houston aside for now, and I'm going to start with the Miami Dolphins. Shut the window here. Okay, so what I do first is I go through and I sort out the offense and the defense. So let's go through here. Defense. And the special teams. So offense, defense, special teams. And the special teams being the punters, kickers, and the returners. Let's go. Defense, defense. Defense. Like I said, this set has never been touched by human hands, so it's fresh out of the box. One of the pleasures of APBA here. They smell great too, like that fresh new paper smell. Offense. I'll go through some of the famous names. I'll mention them as I go through any names I may recognize. Ronnie Lee, remember him? He's a tight end for some offense. This is the Dolphins again. Bo Matthews, I remember him. He was on the 70s Dolphins. Tony Nathan, remember him. Defense, offense, offense, defense, defense. Don Strock from Virginia Tech. Defense, offense. Tommy Vigorito, he's the punt returner. Vaughn Shaman's their kicker. Fulton Walker returns the kicks. David Woodley's a quarterback. Okay. So you can see now I got three piles of cards. One offensive pile, one defensive pile, and another pile here for the, put him, he's on the special teams. Another pile for the special teams guys up top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the special teams and the defense aside. Actually, looks like I got some Minnesota guys in there. Let's get those guys out of here. Okay, so we'll put the special teams and the defense aside, and we're going to work on the offense now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate them between the skill position guys and the linemen. Right here. Okay, so let's go. Skill line. Skill line. This is what they do a lot if you've ever coached football or watched your kids play football. My son, he's played 11 years of football. He's actually playing a Division III football right now. So he spent a lot of time watching their practices, and a lot of their practices are broken up into like squads. They have the full team, but then the team, once they're done with their warm ups, they break off into, you know, the running backs go to a group, the linemen go to a group, the quarterbacks go to a group. So they break off into squads. So that's kind of what we're doing here. Offense. Okay, we got tackle, offense, lineman. Okay, let's go through, look at this one more time. Make sure we didn't miss anybody. Okay. What we have here now is we have a pile of the skill guys on the left. That's these guys. And we have a pile of the big hogs, the linemen over here. So now we're going to separate these guys out. And we're going to start with the linemen, because that's where every offensive play in football starts, is with the offensive line. The center has the ball and he's going to snap it. So everything starts up front. So let's, what I'm going to do here is in APBA, what you're looking at is their player rating. Sorry for the moving around, but see this center 3. Players are ranked anywhere 1 to 5, with 5 being the best. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to get the 11 guys on the field with the highest ratings right here on their offense or defense, with the goal of trying to get to A index. So how APBA Football, one of the basics of APBA Football is that it's based on an index system. So if you're playing like the Super Bowl champion versus the worst team in the league, that Super Bowl champion will probably be what's called A index for the game. Now, most of, I'd say probably about 80% of the games that you'll play in like a season replay will be, both teams will be in a B index, which is like an average. Now, if you're playing like a really bad team versus, say, the Super Bowl champions, that really bad team will be in what's called a C offensive index. So the chart book are somewhat, they had a picture of it in the newer book, but I don't have it here. But we'll get a little more into that index. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find the lineman with the highest ratings that I could get on the field. So you can see Denard's a 3. So I'm going to put this over to the side. So first thing I do is I look for all the guys with 5s. If there's none, I go look for 4s. None there, I go look for 3s. And hopefully I have at least all 3s, because when you get down to the 1s and 2s, you're getting a little bit not as good players. So let's sort that out. Okay, so we've got, all right, we've got a 4 tackle there. That's good. That's John Geisler. All right, we got another 4 tackle. That's looking good on the ends. All right, we got a 4 guard. Okay, so that's all the 4s with no 5s. Let's see who we can get 3s. So we got Mark Denard, a 3 center. So he'll be our center. And I have a 3 guard. We'll say Jeff Toes. And we're going to put any of the extra guys face down over here. They'll just be the backups for the game. So you can see that's our starting offensive line for the Dolphins. It goes Geisler, Toes, Denard, Newman, and Lasco. Let's add them up. So that's 4 plus 4 is 8. Plus 3 is 11, plus 3 is 14, plus 4 is 18. So remember 18. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to get the skill guys, and I'm going to try to find the best, just in a pro set offense, we're going to find the best 2 wide receivers, the highest rated tight end, as well as the highest rated quarterback, fullback, and halfback. Let's put these guys aside. That's my starting offensive line for the Dolphins. Okay, let's go through, and we're looking again for the highest rated guys, like the 5s and 4s first, to go through here. Okay, so we got Duriel Harris. He's a wide receiver 4, so he'll play. All right, so Tony Nathan is a halfback 4, so he'll be in the backfield. Okay, and then we have either Don Strock or David Woodley. So hard to say who started more without looking at Pro Football Reference. I could look at their J ratings down at the bottom, which Strock's a J3, so we'll say he'll start. So usually the J, the higher the J number, the less that person played typically in the sports season. Okay, so we got all of our 4s, and John Strock's our quarterback, so now we're looking for any 3s we may have. Okay, so we have Jimmy Cephalo as a 3. Okay, so they're not looking that great here. So they don't have, okay, we got Andre Franklin. He's a 3 fullback. So I'm looking for at least a 3 tight end. I don't see one. So they do not have a 3 tight end. So they're going to have to make do with, let's say, Joe Rose. He's a 2 tight end. Okay, so the rest of the guys, let's put over on the sideline here. Let's look and see what we have. Okay, so we got in APBA, a wide receiver is called EB. So Duriel Harrison, EB, he's a 4. Tight end's ET. I'm not sure why they don't just call TE, but it's ET for phone home. No, it's ET for tight end. Jimmy Cephalo is EB3, so he's a wide receiver. Don Strock, now obviously it's a little more plain English, he's the quarterback. Okay, offense, Tony Nathan's a halfback. See, HB is a 4. Andre Franklin's a fullback 3. So let's add up their points. So 4 plus 2 is 6, plus 3 is 9, plus 3 is 12, plus 4 is 16, plus 3 is 19. So now we're going to add that 19 onto our offensive line total, which if you remember was 18, so that gives us 37 points. So Miami defense, their high is they're 37 points. Now that number can change throughout a game as you put in subs or guys get injured. So for example, if you have to put in say an EB2 for Duriel Harris, their offensive points are going to go down to 35. So they're starting at 37, but it could change as other players come into the game. Okay, so let's put the Miami starting offense aside. And now let's look at their defense. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to go through and try to find all the 5s and 4s first, see how many I can get. So like I say, you're trying to get the highest defense possible because that defensive total is going to be compared to their opponent's offensive total to determine the index for that offense. Okay, so it looks like, let's see here. Looks like Miami runs a 3-4 defense because they have a nose tackle and they have guys listed as inside linebackers. For example, when you look at Miami's linebackers, see how it says ILB, that stands for inside linebacker, and OLB, that stands for outside linebacker. When you have inside and outside linebackers, that typically means that they ran a 3-4 defense through the year. So that would be 3 down linemen. That's 2 tackles, 2 ends and a nose tackle. And they have 4 linebackers, 2 outside, 2 inside. And then they have their 2 corners and their 2 safeties. So just for fun, let's look at the 81 Dolphins on Pro Football Reference to see if they ran a 3-4. I know that's one of the first things they show on there. Yeah, that's great how APBA picks that up. So if you look at the 81 Dolphins, see down towards the bottom there, it says defensive alignment 3-4. So that means Dolphins ran 3 down linemen with 4 linebackers. Let's set them up. Okay, so Ernie Roan's a 4. Okay, so we have AJ Dews a 4. Bob Brodzinski's a 4 outside, 4 inside. So the linebacker's looking decent. Strong safety is a 4. Glenn Blackwood. Well, they have a good nose tackle. Bob Baumhauer, sounds like a defenseman. Bob Baumhauer from Alabama. Okay, so that's all my 4s. Okay, so let's go fill in the gaps with the 3s. So we used all, look, we have no more 5s and 4s left, so let's look for 3s. So I have a 3 cornerback, Don McNeil. I have a 3 outside linebacker, Larry Gordon. A 3 end, Vern Den Herder. A 3 free safety, Lyle Blackwood. A 3 defensive end, Doug Betters. Okay, that's everybody. Actually, no, it's not everybody. I need one more corner. Hopefully I don't have a 2. Oh my goodness, I might have a 2. You have to put a 2 there. Okay, it'll be Mike Kozlowski for 2. So that's, you typically don't want to have 2s or 1s on your field, but they ran out of 3. So with APBA, they have they title each of the defending players by a number. So how they do it is the D1 is always the defensive left end. D2 would be, this is on a 3-4 defense. The nose tackle will be the D2. The D3 is the left inside linebacker. The D4 is the right inside linebacker. The D5 is the right end. The D6 is the left outside linebacker. The D7 is the right outside linebacker. The D8 is the left corner. D9 is a right corner. D10 strong in the D10, and then the final guy, and the 11th guy is always the free safety, is the D11. So during the game, you sometimes have to reference who maybe made an interception or recovered a fumble on the defense. So it'll say, and the boards will reference like D1, D2, D3. So it's a good idea just to keep them in a stack, like in order D1 to D11. So you could easily reference who the player was that maybe recovered a fumble or intercepted it. So just like we did with the offense, now let's add up their totals. So actually, let's write it down now since we're right about that point. So we'll go Miami. So they were a 37 offense. Let's see what their defense is here. It's 3, 7, 11, 15, 18, 21, 25, 28, 28, 2, 34, 33, 37. Okay, so they have a 37 defense also. So 37 offense, 37 defense. Mark that on your score sheet because we're going to compare those total to Houston's totals. So now we have our starting defense and our starting offense for Miami. And the rest of the guys are in the reserve pile. I like to put the special teams up top. Okay, here's our extra defenders. So those guys may come in if there's injuries or whatever. Or if you want to put them in. Okay. So what I'm going to do next here is just show how I set up my score sheet for the game. You know what? Don Strzok only started one game, so I'm actually going to start that other guy here. So I'm going to start Woodley instead of Strzok. Let's take him out. I should have known that, but David Woodley's coming in. Okay, so looking at Pro Football Reference, what I'm looking at is I'm going to try to find what the average number of dropbacks were for the Miami quarterbacks. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to add up their total attempts plus sacks plus rushing attempts. So total attempts for the Dolphins was 498. The quarterback was sacked 30 times. And it looks like Woodley attempted 63 rushing attempts on the year. So let's add up those numbers. And we'll divide it by 16. 8 plus 30 plus 63 is 591 divided by 16. So that totals rounded up. That's 37 dropbacks in a game for Woodley. So these would be like times you'd be attempting like a pass play. I'm just going to write 37 right next to that. Okay, so next I'm going to look at Pro Football Reference. And I'm looking for I'm looking for attempts per game. So what I do is I click this button to sort that. And anyone that averaged 2 or more attempts per game is going to be playing in this game. And let's see, we're gonna round up these numbers here. I'm just gonna jot it down here. So you could see Andre Franklin is their leading rushing attempt guy with 13 attempts per game. Nathan is second with 12. Well, even though it's rounded down, it's 11. I always round up for this. Who is this guy? Woody Bennett. Never heard of him. So Woody Bennett averages 10. Woodley 4. Hill 4. And Vigorito 3. Here's what we got. We got Franklin, Nathan, Bennett, Woodley, Hill, Vigorito. Okay, next we're going to look at receivers. Look how good that comes in here. Let's go to receptions a game. And again, anyone that's over 2. So it looks like we only have 4 guys. So Moore's 2, Vigorito 3. Let's start with the top. Tony Nathan is 4. Harris is 4. Vigorito's 3. Moore's 2. So how my football fatigue system works is, like, for example, if you look at their running backs, like if you want to get Franklin 14 carries, he has max 13. That means all those other guys have to get their carries first. Or if you have, say, Bennett, say if he's at 10 carries, he has to come out of the game until all those other guys have hit their max carries. And what that does is, like I said, simulates the fatigue and rest that goes on in during football games. Same with the receivers. So if Harris catches 4 passes, he can't be targeted for a pass attempt until Nathan, Vigorito, and Moore have caught their number. All right, so that Dolphins are set up and ready to go here. So what I'll do in this game, I just wanted to do this to show how we set up a game. So the next thing I do is I have to do the same exact process for the Houston Oilers. But once I get that done, I'm going to have 2 numbers to compare to. I'm actually going to pull that chart up just to leave the video with this, just kind of see how how the base of APBA Football is based on that index system. It's shown better on the master board, so I'm just going to pull that out real quick to show you guys. All right, so here it is. So, okay, what you're going to do is you're going to compare your offense to the defense of the other team. So I'm going to compare that Dolphins 37 to the Oilers defense to see if I can get anything better than this B. So let's see. So 37, so 30. So if the Oilers defense is anything between 30 and a 40, let's see, 30, yeah, 30 and 44, they're going to be in a B index. And most likely they are going to be in a B index. Now, if for some odd reason, let's say like the really good, like the perfect defense, for example, would be a 55. Highest I've seen recently was some of the 70s Steelers up around 45, 46. I think I just saw the 72 Redskins had a really high defense, like around 46. So, for example, if this 81 Dolphins team was playing, like, say, the 46 rated 72 Redskins, that Redskin defense would put them into C index. This is -8 or lower. So that means the offense, the Miami Dolphins 37 is 8 points low or more lower than the Redskins defense. So the Dolphins would be playing in C index, which is a very weak index to be in. It's very hard to move the ball or get any type of big plays if you're in C index. B is average. That's where you're going to see most of the games. Now, for example, if the Oilers defense, once I add them up, is below 30, so let's say they come in at, say, a 29, that would be, the Dolphins would be 8 or more, so they'd be 8 or more higher. So the Dolphins would be in A index if it was a very, very poor defensive team they were playing. A index is the opposite of C index, because the A index is the most powerful offense you could be in. You're going to see a lot of very big yardages ripped off, as well as very good rolls. Just some really nice results for the offensive players if you're an A index. So that's essentially just the basics of the index system and setting up a game of APBA Football. I'm not going to show the Oilers, but that kind of just gives you a walkthrough of like just setting up a card set and just how to get things started with this game. So I hope everyone enjoyed it, and have a good evening. Thanks. Bye-bye.